What is up, YouTube? It's your boy Nova Senpai, and I'm back with another Tower of Fantasy character build. And this time we're doing Frigg, the super sexy pink-haired frost DPS. And can I just say, like, her character model, A1, A1. But that's not what. That's a different video. So today we're gonna talk about the best way to build and use Frigg. Gear set to gears, matrices, and team comps, so it's like that, and like playstyle. So first off, her idle animation was actually pretty cool. Those numbers were dope. Frigg is a DPS character, which means she is the character that is on the field to strictly do damage and kill opponents. So we will start with team comps. So depending on your team comp, right, you're gonna have the different effects. For most of them, though, it's going to be the attack effect. So it could release 2 DPS weapons, increase final damage by 10%, and it's with team play, it's increased 40%. So the team comp that I use personally, right, is King, Frigg, and Tsubasa, right? So the main thing about Frigg's weapon is it gives Frost Resonance as a passive. So Frost Resonance increases Frost attack by 15% and Frost Resistance by 25%. And it's activated by equipping 2 or more Frost weapons. This set effect also works with weapons in the offhand slot. The effect does not stack. So pretty much to get the main usage out of Frigg, you want to have at least 2 Frost weapons on your team, right? So that gives you like 3 options. So it gives you Tsubasa, and okay, it gives you 2 options. It gives you Tsubasa, well, 3, yeah. Tsubasa, Meryl, and Coco, which I don't have. So I run King, Frigg, and Tsubasa mainly because this team comp I go for dealing a lot of damage. So King is there to break my shield when I need to, and to do a little bit of damage, you know, because I have him fucking 5-star. It's crazy. And then Frigg is my main DPS, and then in between, while I'm waiting for her, you know, charge attacks and stuff to let up, I use Tsubasa, because Tsubasa is just nuts and completely broken. Well, not completely broken, but she's fucking nuts, especially if you get her higher star. So yeah, the other team comps you could potentially run would be this same team comp, but if you switch out King for Nemesis, because her shatter is at 8, it's an A shatter, it's not bad. Especially if you go into something that like increases your frost, it breaks shields rather quickly. So another team comp that you could run besides mine, right, is you could go for Meryl instead of King. You go for Meryl instead of King, and that would make it just a mono frost team. And you know, Meryl would be your shield breaker, and then your other 2 DPS. I consider Tsubasa in this team comp as like a sub DPS, really. But she's just your switch out main DPS. She like, so, and then that would also give you the attack match settings. And then for another comp you could run would be Frigg, Meryl, Nemesis, and that would give you like the balanced. So it would like, so balanced increases final damage and damage reduction by 5%, shatter and healing effect by 20%. And that would pretty much just be, so Meryl's your shield breaker, Nemesis is your healer, your support character, and you know, Frigg is obviously your main DPS. In all the builds, she's always going to be the main DPS because she deals a crap ton of damage. All right, so next up I want to talk about gear. Pretty much just when you go for your gear, you're running, you want the main random stats to level up. Obviously you want like the crit and maybe attack, but you want frost attack, which I do not have. Yeah, frost attack right here. So you want frost attack mainly, That's what you want, because it just increase that frost damage, which increases, you know, Subasa, and it increases Frigg, and that's what you want. You want to increase Frigg. So the substats you want would be frost attack, crit, and then two other ones I wouldn't know like the best. It's just mainly what you want is that frost attack, and that's pretty much it for gear. You know, it's real simple. You just find that gear, roll into it, hope that you get the stats rolled into crit or frost attack. I wanted to say cryo, ex-Genshin player, you know. But and then that's pretty much it. All right, so the next thing that I want to talk about is her awakening traits and if they are worth it. So if you remember when I talked about Kings, I didn't say it was very worth it, because with his like playstyle, it was more focused, like his trait was giving you heals based on kills, when really you're just gonna have him out to shatter, so it's not as worth it. But with Frigg, right, with Frigg, her trait is freeze and icebound. So at 1200 awakening points, freeze increases frost attack by 1.5% every 3 seconds upon entering battle. It stacks up to 10 times and lasts for 5 seconds. So if you switch into her, you get a plus 1.5% every 3 seconds upon it. So if you switch her into her, do damage, switch out to Subasa, another DPS, switch back in, you can get it stacked up, right? And it stacks 10 times, so that's about, I want to say 15% damage boost at max, or increased attack at max. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. And then at Icebound, which is the 4000 awakening point trait, your frost attack is boosted by 2.4 every 3 seconds. It stacks up to 10 times, lasts for 5 seconds. In addition, gain hyper body and become immune to control effects in the frost domain. So the frost domain, that when you use your one, it's that glowing blue cryo stuff on the ground, which also, if you didn't know, allows you to dodge infinitely and use dodge attacks infinitely while that domain is up. And yeah, so that's pretty nice. And that's a 24% attack boost, if I'm right, you know my math, right? And I'm big brain. Hopefully I'm big brain, probably. You can trust me. All right, and next up, what we're going to talk about is the matrices. So the matrices on Frigg go by, okay, we'll start with R's. So the only R one that I would recommend using would be, what is this, the cyber dog thing, this little thing right here, because it increases frost damage by 6%. Okay, that's if you have nothing but these blues, that's what you use. So when it comes to SRs, I haven't used this, but looking at it, using echoes, SR, matrices, using a discharge skill to switch to the current weapon grades 80, 100, 120 weapon charge based on the star level. It could be useful, especially if you're running it like Subasa. So you could, you know, switch to the Subasa, get your, like, because Subasa shoots fast, so leveling up your charge skill isn't, or your discharge skill isn't that hard. So then switching back, it grants weapon charge to a weapon, which is nice. The one I run though is I run Sobek, just solely because it increases damage dealt by 6%, 7.5 and then 9% for each star level, for each enemy nearby up to 3 stacks. So that's a max of 18% if 3 people are near you. Again, if my math is correct, and I have faith, you know, I have faith. I'm confident. So yeah, so that's at the lowest, like not starred, that's 18% for 3 people near you, and most of the time you're gonna have 3 people near you, and so your one attack is an AoE, so the damage boost also increases, so you can attack everybody. It just lets you deal out that more damage. And then obviously the best one is going to be, so obviously the best matrices to use are the SSR Frigg matrices, which is their 2 set is when switching from a frost weapon to another frost weapon, frost attack is increased by 15%, 18%, 21%, 25% based on star level for 10 seconds. Only the highest level effect is applied when obtained repeatedly. And her 4 set is when using frozen domain, enemies within the domain take 60, 75, 80, 105% of frost attack every second. So obviously that's a bit crazy, you know, but Sobek, like in my opinion, Sobek's is good enough, especially if you start, to where you do not necessarily need the SSR to utilize her in the game. She's cracked as is, you know. So, and then there's also, if you do not have Frigg, right, like say you're not pulling on her matrices banner, so you're not getting her, you could use Samir's SSR, which I also do not have, but again, on screen. So her 2 set will deal more damage upon hitting a target each time by 1.5%, up to 10, 13, 16, or 20 stacks based on star level. Buffing stack time is 2 seconds. And then her 4 is each attack onto locked on targets deals extra damage equal to 10%, 12.5%, 15%, and 17.5% of attack based on star level. Right? So I don't really see the second one, or the 4 set, as much, but the 2 definitely. Maybe if you wanted, you know, if you want to go a little crazy, you could combine, you know, Frigg's and Samir's, you know, then you get the 2 buff from each of them. I don't know if it would go crazy. I don't even have either of them, so, but I'm seeing that could potentially be, you know, be kind of spicy. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. If you're new, I recommend subscribing. You know, I do Let's Plays usually, and I've just been starting making guides on Tower of Fantasy because, well, you know, I play Tower of Fantasy a lot, so yeah. But I hope you guys liked it. I'll see you in the next video. Peace!